Okay, I guess I have to do it this way. What's up, you guys? It's Ali. Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite eccentric slow man, and today, you guys, I'm coming on live to talk to you about Africa and visiting Africa, and especially if this is your first time. So I'm not necessarily going to be giving you the down low on individual countries that I've been to, but talking about just the starting point of trying to get there, and just a little couple of historical facts, things that you might want to know about the continent. First one, it's a continent. When you say Africa, you're not talking about a country, you're talking about a continent. So anyway, welcome back to my channel, you guys. If my content is something that you enjoy, all different kinds of it, please click that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're already a subscriber, I love you guys. Thank you guys for coming back, visiting often, commenting, and sharing with others. If you are new and this is interesting to you and you've perused some of my other playlists, which are kind of broken out by country, and they don't even cover all the countries I've been to, but the ones I've made videos for, and you're interested in the content, please click the subscribe button. It is a free 99 for you guys, and click the notification bell so you know when I go live and have other information to share. Now, this topic came up. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna do a quick swipe. I like my lens looked a little crisp. Um, I haven't talked about Africa in, well, since I was just there this year. Earlier this year, I was on the islands, but I haven't really talked about uh, the journey in getting there. And I think it's probably apropos to do so again, because it's been a while, y'all. I was there for a full year back in 2021, and I have visited before then. 2019 was my first time, and then ongoing over the last 5 years. So let's chat. Let me tell you a few things quickly about the continent. Hold on, because I have some notes, because y'all know I get off track, and so um, I like to try to have a little outline of what I want to share with you guys. So the primary point of this is to kind of give you some ideas of where, what you can look forward to, what you can kind of expect, and how to get started in planning, okay, your trip. And if you guys are watching, please let me know where you're watching from. If you guys can't tell, I got a different background because I am in a different apartment now, which I will be sharing at some point in time. My stays here in Playa del Carmen. You guys know I am a full-time traveling slow mad, hence my name, Eccentric Slow Mad. And right now I'm actually in Mexico. I am in Playa del Carmen. I am here with my 10-year-old grandson. He is getting a crash course on nomading, and this is his third city in his first country abroad. And we are moving and shaking and stuff. And so actually he just got out of the swimming pool. He's taking some free time because it's Sunday afternoon. He's actually done assignments because he's being homeschooled. If you guys have any interest in that and want to kind of see some of our journey up until this point, please check out my playlist. I believe it's called Nomading with Nomad Travel with Mimi and Bray. I think that's the name of my playlist, y'all. Yes, grandson. 10-year-old grandson. I have a beautiful granddaughter too. Okay, we're not gonna talk about them right now because let me just tell y'all, they will consume this entire video, and I'll be showing y'all pictures and all kinds of stuff. So, but anyway, check my channel, check some of my shorts. I have some of our first exciting days, his first flight that he remembers on, his first flight that he remembers, and just moving around and moving and shaking. So anyway, I would love to take him to Africa too. So, and if you guys are wanting to travel with children, I am learning as I go. I've been wanting to do this since he was a wee little chap, and I finally have the opportunity. Thank you to his parents and him for wanting to come. You guys spend some time with your grandkids when they're younger too is really cool. We have such a great relationship, even though I don't see him very often because I'm a full-time traveler abroad. It's very comfortable for us to travel together. Slight differences in things like that. I'm letting you guys know that if you come on and post something dumb like Kenneth, you will be blocked. If you see something dumb like what Kenneth posted, then please notify me or click notify. And I will delete it. So if I get off track because I'm doing the monitoring on my video, that is why as well. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. Let's talk about Africa. If you are a person who has wanted to go to Africa, and you think it's daunting, you're like, God, I got to do a tour. The tours are so expensive. I'm not going to deny that, but I'm going to tell you some things that may help you, or even if you're a person that's like, well, I never really thought about it, I'm going to talk about one of my friends who actually ended up coming when I was in Kenya, you all, so on and so forth. So if you are, please give me one of these, raise your hand and tell me, yes, you want to visit Africa, but you don't know how. So this is not going to be the full-fledged. If this has a good response, I will actually probably do a kind of a tidbit kind of tutorial on the steps to get started, and direct you guys to I have for one of the countries I visited, I did a guide. I haven't done any other ones. I'm slacking. I know it. So anyway, the West never shows a good side of Africa. That's why I am doing it. I'm going to share the amazing side and why the West. And when you say West, it's actually the East too. It's the entire world does not show a good side of Africa. So it's crazy, right? All right, so anyway, let's talk about it. First and foremost, thank you guys again for being here, but Africa is a continent. That means a body of land surrounded by water, separated in some way by water, okay? I am not in Africa right now. I'm actually in Mexico. I was in Africa earlier this year in Cabo Verde, and I spent a year in the great continent in 2021 and have visited prior to that 2018, 2019. Yeah, 2018 and 2019. So anyway, I'm recapping because this comes up quite a bit, and I just haven't talked about just generalized Africa in a while, I don't think. So anyway, first of all, it's a continent, 54 countries. 54 countries, kind of like the United States, which is, anyway. Okay, and couple just quick facts, things that everyone should know, because I think people say things that are just crazy. Africa in and of itself, Akabulan is what I call it, or one of the Kemetic names. I don't know if the word originated from, but I do follow a little bit about Kemet, and some of the historical information prior to it being called Africa. Okay, anyway, so Africa as we know it today was colonized multiple times. Some of the main colonizers that we know of: Great Britain, Spain, Germany, Italy, Portugal, Belgium, France. Main ones. Now others have benefit and are in there now pillaging, including the United States of the Americas. China is over there dibbling and dabbling. Korea has been in there dibbling and dabbling, and everyone else that has a relationship with some of those major powerhouses. Okay, so people oftentimes say, well, why was it colonized? I'm just gonna give you my opinion and just some factual things, but I'm sprinkling in some of my personalized opinion. Africa truly is the land of everything. They have everything. When you talk about providing every resource, you can find it there. Okay, from mineral resources to animal life resources to plant life resources to um, um, medical kind of type resources. So when you talk about and think about like industrial revolutions that we've had all over the globe, none of that would be possible without the technology that was seized, and I use my word very carefully, from Africa, and is still being seized with all of the strife and things that are going on, specifically in the Congo. You know, a lot of people talk about, well, why are they poor? Africa's not poor. Please, Africa's not poor. Africa's not poor. Because if Africa was poor, everybody wouldn't be there trying to steal from it. All right, so let's first correct that. This is going to be a fun video, but some things do agitate me, and I've been there, and I've never been a person that never wanted to go, but I do know some people who have never wanted to go, and some people who have exhaustive experiences and things like that, and we'll break some of that down as well when we talk about expectations. Okay. And then, you know, outside of the tech stuff, the resources, its location. When you look at Africa, it's centralized. It's like literally right there. You pretty much get anywhere. Now, of course, it's not really easy to move about to and from Africa because it has been set up that way to make it difficult and make it very costly and expensive to move about. And so keep that in mind. But based on its location, geographical location, it's perfect. That's why it has all the resources, y'all. It has every terrain you can think of, but we'll talk about that in a second. Real quickly, just when we think about some of those things, in addition to this ideal of superiority over the people, the natives of that land, there's this assumption, quite ill-informed and incorrect assumption of intelligence and superiority, and that has been passed down over generations and generations and generations, across the seas and borders and so on and so forth, and people literally still believe this. It can't be the furthest thing from the truth. Africa was building, welding, creating, mathematical, bathing, farming, hunting, all of these things long before they were colonized. Okay? All right. Many nations, so the effects, I'll talk about the effects, is what's happening, what has happened now, when you now have 54 countries, which is brought about by the other world, the rest of the world, not even just West, but Eastern world coming in and creating borders that did not exist before, and divvying it up amongst those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned Italy before, but 7 main colonizer countries, dividing those up so that they could create borders and annex and all of these different things, right? And so from that, many nations, including the United States, were born from the pillaging of a great continent. And you know, it's hard to talk about the beauty and visiting Africa without speaking some of this truth to power, so to speak, right? We can't, to me, you can't gloss over it and just act like it's just any old basic destination spot. You know, there's history in every destination spot for the most part that we visit, and to not speak about some of these just basic facts, especially when people have such negative things to say when we speak about visiting Africa. I felt it apropos to speak about it in the first 12 minutes of my video. So, what can you expect? What can you look forward to if you're visiting Africa? Some people go to different parts of the world for skiing. Some people go to different parts of the world for marine adventures, aquatic life, and you know, adventures, exercise, activities, things like that. We go to different places for different things. Um, can't go all over the world for a certain type of wildlife. Sometimes you have to handpick where you go. Cultural things, heritage, being able to see certain landscapes. We go to different places to see that. You know, you're not going to go to New York per se to see mountains. Now, if you go further north, you're probably going to see some. Um, but when I say you have a continent that is full and rich of everything, there's actually certain countries within that continent that you can literally stand in one and see the glorious Kilimanjaro mountain, and then see the valleys, and then turn around and, of course, might need a little bit of binoculars to see great cities that are built, and highways that are built, and beautiful lakes, and all of that. That's what you're gonna get when you go to Africa. You literally are in one space with bountiful opportunities for every type of vacation or lifestyle that you want. As you guys know, I'm a slow man, so that means I travel abroad. And that doesn't mean I travel abroad. It means I travel slowly, like a person. I move around. I'm home free. So I have the opportunity to visit places longer term and stay and get an experience that is different than, a short 5 to 10 day visit. Yes. Albert says, "Oh, I left America 10 years ago for Africa. Where are you in Africa?" Uh, Let me delete some people. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I've been chatting, so I've missed some commentary. Africa's full of natural minerals. Yes, it is. I did not go to church. Okay, so let's get back to it. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about what to expect when you go there: food, the culture, heritage, architecture, from the villages to the cities, the beach life, the marine life, the um, wildlife, the people, uh, just different cultures that, until you actually go, you could be somewhere in Spain, or you could be in Brazil, or you could be in the Americas, or France, and you're trying to figure out, man, this rice is really good, or the way that we do something, and it's literally a take from another culture, which takes from another culture, and we do these things around the world globally, but so much of it originated in on the continent of Africa, and so many different, and just variations. Just, Spanish rice has tomato sauce, whereas jollof rice is made with a whole bunch of mixes and or seasonings and things. I mean, so many things that are alike. And that's one of the things about Africa, and one of the things that I share with people when they talk about going to Africa. First of all, drop all of your superiority complexes and things of that. Leave that wherever you are. Actually start working on fixing that whole mentality. And I say that with all the love that I can possibly muster. Don't go anywhere thinking that, oh, you're so much better than someone because they don't have anything. And the reason there is a deficit there is because man from so many other places have been pillaging and pillaging and pillaging and pillaging. If I came to your house and kept taking and kept taking and kept taking and kept taking everything, you'd be beat down as well, right? And so, and that does not make a person superior because they take. That's a conversation for another day. But one of the first things is continent, 54 countries, what you can expect, and also the mindset that would be very good to carry with you should you decide to go and visit. you can definitely go and visit some places, do 5 days. You can go to Cabo Verde. You would almost never, there's some places in all different parts of the world where you would never know where you are unless you like pinned yourself on a map. And there's some places in Africa that are very much like that, where you can go and you can visit, and unless you told a person, they would know that you're actually in Africa. And Cabo Verde is one of those places, except you see so many brown and black people there, but then one would think it would be potentially the Caribbean, right? Like, we don't know the difference, because how much difference is there except geography, right? And then history and specific cultural and language and things like that, right? But a lot of times, just cursory view, just going, a lot of people literally go on vacations and go in tour groups and things like that, and have very little interaction with the local people or anyone outside of who you're doing the tour with in the first place. So for the most part, a lot of people can go and have a very uh, I don't know which term, because I have a couple terms in my mind that I want to use, and they're realistic, but they're not dynamic. So you can have a one-dimensional view of a place that you visit and not truly understand anything about it. Like, a lot of times people will say something is super great or something sucks, and it's because a lot of times we view things from that one eye view, that one dimension, what we experience. And a lot of times we don't have the ability or the time, nor do we want to take the time to kind of evaluate things on a broader scale, three-dimensionally, right? Dynamically. This, if this, then this, so on and so forth. And I want to kind of just talk about, like, just some of the basics of visiting Africa. It's in a whole nutshell, it's no different than going anywhere else in the world, quite frankly. I would say the mentality about stripping yourself of superiority to anywhere you're going to go in the world, because you can go over to Europe and they don't flush toilet paper down the toilet, and in America you're going to think that that's garbage, and they have poor infrastructure, or maybe it's the reason that they have great infrastructure, because they don't damage it with lotion covered Charmin that clogs all of their piping. Anyway, you know, you can pick and choose what's intelligent and what isn't, right? And so I say all that to say, there's so many levels of travel, visiting different places and exploring the world and things like that. And Africa does not have to be daunting. Second thing I'm going to say is, one of the first things people ask is, how many immunizations do I have to get? Well, depending on where you're going, if you're going to some of the basic places, you may only need yellow fever. And there's only one country I know so far, well, there's a few, but one in particular that people tend to go to often, that requires yellow fever, and that is Senegal. I believe they still do. But you don't need a visa. Okay, so hand in hand, those two things, visa requirements and vaccinations. Everybody thinks that you need a suite of vaccines, anywhere from 18 or so vaccines. Not really that many, but some people do. Some people go and get the full gamut because they're told they need it, their job will pay for it, so on and so forth, and so they go ahead and they do it. I went, I got the yellow fever because it was required to go to Senegal, and this was in 2019. I went to Morocco, didn't need anything. I've been to Egypt, didn't need anything. Went to Kenya, didn't need anything. Went to Tanzania, didn't need anything. Went to Cabo Verde, did not need anything, okay? If you are of, compromised health and you are concerned, consult your physician, okay? But no, you don't necessarily need a suite of 9 or 10 shots, or things like that, to go and visit the continent. But you do need to check this one website. Is very, very helpful, and that is the us.gov website, and or not and even before you go to the us.gov site, I would actually go to the individual embassy sites for the countries that you're going to visit. And this is just across the board, something I teach in my travel of course, is to check embassy websites anytime you're going to travel abroad to see what their requirements are. Do not rely on the U.S. government to tell you what another country's requirements are, and do not require on non-official sites to tell you what you need in order to visit a particular country. What airlines have gotten really good because airlines were during COVID put on this penalty system that if they uh, checked in someone and allowed someone on a flight that did not meet certain criteria, that airline would be fined. And they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to be getting fined because people bought tickets and we don't want to argue with the customer. I almost had that happen to me going from Kenya to Thailand in 2021. It was a battle to get on that flight and to prove that I had everything necessary that I needed to go on that flight. And so you can also use not only embassy websites, official government pages for different countries that you choose to visit, but you can also check the validation for the airlines that you book on. They usually will flag you and tell you, oh, you need to make sure you have this, make sure you're checking the visa pages, make sure you're checking vaccine requirement, immunization requirement pages, all of those things they should tell you. And even if they don't tell you, it is your responsibility to check yourself, because the last thing you want to happen, I say this all the time, you guys, is you get to the airport and you cannot get on your flight, nor can you get a reimbursement because you bought a non-refundable flight, or it's only refundable if you have some sort of emergency or something like that. You guys cover yourself, because it is our responsibility. Even if you have an agent booking for you, do not expect for them to make sure that everything is covered on your end. And please, you guys, check your passport. I didn't say that at the beginning. I didn't think I needed to say that, but I think I'm going to say it now. Yes, you need a passport to travel into Africa. You're going to need a valid passport, and at least 6 months before it expires from the last day of your trip. Okay, so if you know that you are going to be somewhere for 3 months, 2 months, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, make sure that your passport is valid for 6 months after your date of return back to the United States, or at least outside of Africa. Okay, I always kind of exclude that as something that people need to know, but if it's your first time traveling, you might not even know that. If you don't have a passport, go ahead and apply for your passport. You get one. Hurry up. It doesn't take that much time. You should have it probably before December. Okay? Who knows? Get it turned in, get it done. No reason in the world we can't have passports and just be ready to go on the fly. I shouldn't say no reason in the world. No reason in the world you shouldn't want or be able to get a passport if you want one, and if you have the means to pay for one, because they're pretty easy to get. I know during COVID it was a little bit more difficult because the time frames to get those passports was triple the time. It's not like that anymore, so go ahead and apply and get yours taken care of today. All right, so back to the list. So basic things, just refer back to the chapters to see. We've also talked a little bit about mindset, but the next thing is traveling. A lot of people think it's super expensive to go to Africa, and it can be. It can be expensive traveling from country to country within Africa, which I've experienced, and then sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's seasonal, sometimes it depends on other things, sometimes it depends on the relationship between those two countries. You could be simply doing a land border crossing, and that can be difficult, okay? But it also depends on your country of origin, i.e. the passport that you hold. Sometimes it's difficult to move about the world in general depending on the passport you hold. So if you got a strong passport, you usually don't have to worry about anything. But if you carry or have a multiple citizenships, and you choose to use your Belize, passport over your U.S. passport going to Africa is probably not that great of an idea. I would probably use the U.S. passport just because of the accessibility and the power that the blue passport holds when traveling to different places. Now, you can put it away afterwards just in case you don't want everybody to know. It's up to you. But keep that in mind when you're traveling to different places, especially if it is a little bit more difficult to travel. Try to use your most powerful passport, okay? Second thing I was going to talk about was visas, because we were talking about the passport and the immunizations, things of that nature. Visa is the same thing. Go on the government sites. You could actually, there's a couple websites that I talk about in my travel course. I've got a couple websites that I was using heavily when COVID was on the uptick, and was a big part of our travel life, and you needed to know whether or not you could enter or leave a country, go to another country, depending on the borders, rules, and so on and so forth. But I still use some of those today to determine whether or not I need a visa, and for the most part, a lot of times you know right offhand. But if you're new to planning, add that to the list of things that you want to make sure you check off. Do you need a visa? And if you need a visa, how long does it take to apply for one? Can you do it online, or do you actually have to physically go to an embassy to do it? And it's really important. Most of the places that I've been to, I'm not going into Burma. So I'm not really, worried about that kind of stuff. If you're trying to go to Myanmar right now, don't. There's a lot going on over there. If you're trying to go to the Congo right now, don't. There's a lot going on right now. There's a plethora of other places that you can go and visit and make your life a lot easier. Unless you're going there for some organization, or you've got something special happening, and you've got some people who are making sure that you're going to get in, covering you, you've got the support and security around you to go into some of those places. Please don't just be going willy-nilly, because you have a powerful passport. Don't do that to yourself or us. Okay, so check your visas. One of the things I will say, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a continued trend, is a number of African countries are rescinding, so to speak, their visa requirements for, hopefully they're doing it, hopefully Africa just opens its doors internally to any African citizen to travel borderlessly across the continent like Europe does, or the Schengen area of Europe. It should be so. If I can come to Africa and move about freely in Africa, I would love for my African brothers and sisters who I have met and attained to this day, to be able to move about more freely than I do. They should be able to, right? I move very freely in the United States. They should be able to do the same, right? But keep in mind what visas you're going to need, when you need to apply for them, what do you need to have in hand to show that you've got your visa? Is it an online thing, verification? Do you need to have something printed? Is it going to take more than 48 hours online? Is it going to take a week to get that visa? Like if you go to do China, you got to send it, and it takes, 2 or 3 days, maybe 4 days, depending on when you send it in. Keep in mind, if you need a visa and it needs to get a stamp, they physically take your whole passport. So you're going to have to send your passport in, and then they give it back to you. So be mindful of those types of things, because those things can impact the flow of your travel, or even getting started with your travel. If you don't know when your passport expires, please go get your passport right now. We'll take 5 Jeopardy seconds for you to go get your passport and check your expiration date on your passport. Okay, all right, you guys. If that is not a date that you know in the off the tip of your tongue, please go and learn it. Your passport date is almost as more important than your birthday. All right. CR, you can't just move freely around. That's a kind of what I was alluding to. When I say move freely around Africa, what I mean is having access. I have a little bit more access than even some of my African brothers and sisters who try to even go from Kenya to Tanzania to Kenya. Very difficult sometimes for them to be able to do that because of whatever the rules and things like that that are in place. But so for me to be able to come, I can just go. I may not even need a visa to go to a place. I can, still might cost me a lot of money, like going to Mozambique. Their visas were ridiculous, and that's why I didn't go. But imagine if that's difficult for me, then it's even more difficult for my brothers and sisters who are there. And so that's what I meant. This will in turn have massive strain on it. Yeah. No, there's places that we can't go. That's why I said please don't go to the Congo because you just want to, or we're flexing and wanting to go to different places and stuff like that. There's enough open borders on the continent you can explore and see the beauty of it without being in conflict zones. Is kind of what I'm trying to say, because we do have people who are just, they go out of their way to do the things that create some of this strain that different places have, and I'm very well aware of that. I was just voicing my opinion to the African government that it would be nice if the people who are in Africa and our citizens could move about without needing to show anything outside of their legal ID. Like, I can travel from state to state, and I know it's not necessarily the same, but the United States, even though we're states and we're a country, we technically function like a continent with countries within it, because all of our states are governed individually with an overarching federal law that is stricken down by state law, which is stricken down by county law, which is stricken down by city law. So hopefully that makes sense. Thank you for your comment. So it's always good to clarify some things because some people may misunderstand, and I talk kind of fast too. So anyway, checking for what type of visas that you may or may not need, and then starting your planning. Please start planning as early as possible. And what I mean by planning, somebody's saying is like, oh, I gotta go and find the flights. Which airlines do you use? All these things. First of all, there are so many airlines that fly in and about, roundabout. Like, I can name some few. If I was flying from the U.S. to Africa, I'd probably fly Qatar, or I'd fly into London or fly into Spain and then make my way down to Africa. There's many ways you can do it. But most people do tours, and that is a compound of maybe 1 or 2 stops or something like that, depending on where you're flying from the US. But what I mean when I say do your planning is decide what it is you're going to Africa for. Why are you going? Because a lot of times, we're going for the milk and honey. It's milk and honey there, every aspect of the word. You talk about being in one land where everything. I've got videos, y'all. Please go check out my videos. Know why you're going, because why you're going can also help you get yourself into the right mindset. And understand, what type of personality, what type of person you're gonna present when you go, or if you run into any issues or concerns or anything, please don't be the person that walks over. I mean, I think I've thought it in my mind a couple of times. Oh, we don't have to do that in our country. You ain't in your country no more, Toto. Okay, I mean it as possible, as nicely as possible. Should every country run smoothly and you have access? Absolutely, to a certain extent. But we also have to understand that most people, the way the United States citizens travel around the world, most people cannot come to the United States as easily as we can go around the world. We have access, and we're not even like that. I don't even think we might be back in the top 8 passports. I haven't looked in a while. But we're not even a #1 passport, and we literally can go places that cannot come to the States without a visa. Did you guys know how many, I have a video on this too, how many countries we can travel to without even applying for a visa? Our passport is our assumed visa. You just flick it, you don't need to fill out anything, you ain't gotta do that card on the plane no more, you don't have to do this stuff. So we have a lot of access. We have, I mean, hell, we can go to Cuba now. I've been twice, you know. Hey Kiana, yes, I'm back. I'm in and out. Check out some of my last videos. I popped back on a couple weeks ago. Because I'm traveling with my grandson right now. So anyway, check that out. I'm just giving some tidbits on things to start thinking about if you want to make that trip to Africa. So listen, planning. Why do you want to go? People, first thing on people's list is usually safari. All right, let me tell you guys, I've done a safari. I did not do Serengeti. Serengeti would have cost me $2,300 for 3 days, 4 days, 3 nights, something like that. And that was with a group. That was the low end with a group. I did Mikumi National Park Forest Park something preserve, right in Tanzania. Personalized, had a group of people. We did 3 days, 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 days, 3 nights. It had to be because we stayed 2 nights in one place and 1 night in a really beautiful wilderness spa resort kind of spot. Everything fully included, including our food, everything except drinks, alcoholic beverages, and your things that you choose to purchase. And that was I think we paid $250, a little less than $250 per person, $250, 250 USD. Okay. It's possible. I know people who run tourist companies and can assist you along the way. So there's even variations in that. And yes, some people are like, well, if you pay 200, you know, you probably got what you paid for. I absolutely did, plus some. We had an amazing time. I have never actually done a whole lot of videos, but there's some shorts on my YouTube. If you guys go look at Kenya and Tanzania playlist, you should see some things there. But if you'd like to see more, you want me to put that on my list to just at least regurgitate some of that stuff for you guys to see, let me know. I need to get on the ball anyway. But yeah, most people say safaris. They want to go because of safaris. Let me tell you, the big 5. Yes, you can see the big 5. But it's worth it to go and see, and you can do it on a smaller scale with a more attainable budget for you, especially if you are a family of 3, 4, 5, whatever the case may be, and you want your kids to experience it, but you're not trying to drop $15,000. Oh, are you my grandson?
I was just scrolling on YouTube and I came across it.
You're watching my live. Here, close the screen so the mosquito. My grandson he came up and he just showed me he's watching my YouTube live video. Thank you for watching and giving me a view. I appreciate you. Bray, since you're interrupting my video, do you want to go to Africa? Do you want to go to Africa? He wants to go to Africa. We're gonna go do some more stuff. So yeah, if you're traveling with kids, you know, I'm not blowing $5,000 on a safari. Not blowing, but I'm not, unless I got the wealth and I got money to spend and I can drop it. Absolutely. But I know there's ways to experience it and get just as much of a fruitful adventure without dropping $10,000. So reach out to me. I do consultations and things like that, and I can share that information with you. If you want more on like just tips and steps, type Africa in the comments. Go to Africa. That would be helpful in the comments. And I'll work on short PDFs and things like that for you guys to get some of this information. Okay? Or go check out my travel course, and at least some of the things I'm talking about now are more general things for you to to do to start on this travel journey. But specific to Africa, I would have a separate kind of list of things that I really encourage you guys to consider before traveling. All right, so know why you want to go. You know what I'm saying? Because that dictates which of the 54 countries you're going to go to. You know, if it's a place you want to walk with the gorillas, you're not going to go to Rwanda for that. I can hear me break. Can you close this because it's going to echo? Thanks, sweetheart. Close the. I got it. Gracias, senor. I love the support. It's beautiful. I saw him standing there, you know, you could see the reflection, and then he holds up the camera. It's me. Anyway, so yeah, know why you want to go, because that's going to break down which country, which region you're going to be going to, and then what other things you can do, and can you border hop to another country and experience it? Because I'm one of those people, you guys, if you're going to go all the way over there, if you're going all the way to Europe is easy. That's a 6 or 9 hour flight, you know, from pretty much anywhere in the US. But if you're going to Africa or Asia, listen, I need to at least knock out 2 countries, minimum 2 countries if I'm going all the way over there, because you're talking about anywhere from a 13 to 16 hour flight minimum, sometimes 23 with the layover, right? And so get the most out of it. And so that's why it's important to kind of note where you're going to be, what you might want to see, and how can you move about. So there's multiple ways of moving around the continent, moving around the countries, within the countries and from country to country. I have taken buses across borders. I have flown across borders. I've flown inland. I have taken buses. I've trying to think, did I take a train in Africa? I don't think I've taken a train yet. I don't think I've taken a train. That's gonna have to be next on the list, okay? I have taken a ferry from one island to another. So there's so many ways to move about once you get there. And if you choose something like Cabo Verde, which is 10 islands, you can see so much in Cabo, but you may be limited in terms of going from Cabo to Kenya or something like that, or the cost may be just exuberant. And why do that when you can fly for less than $100 from Praia to Dakar, Senegal, right? Because they're right next to each other. There's no ferry. You should get a ferry, but you can fly pretty inexpensively, okay? I also will share different airlines that you can kind of move about, at least, you know, how to start searching for that kind of stuff, and getting aligned with, you know, who has direct flights, who has layovers. Are certain airlines as awful as people say? What you need to know so that flying isn't as awful. And this even pertains to the United States, like, you know. Kiana, I am in Playa del Carmen, Mexico right now with my grandson. He is nomading with me, slow madding with me for the next couple of months. Stay woke. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel like I have this burn on my nose from being in the sun. Anyway, yeah, I want to get to Guatemala. I want to take him to a couple of other countries, but we might not be able to do it on this trip. So Mexico it is, and we are going to try to get to at least 5 different cities. We've been to 3 already, so I'm exposing him to Mexico as much as possible, because it's beautiful here. Such a beautiful country. It's huge. Anyway, back to Africa. On my way back to Africa. So understanding where you want to go, because where you want to go is going to dictate, you know, what it's going to take to get there. From your finances, which is the next big thing. How much money you got? How much money you want to spend? You can go from winging it and doing everything on your own, living off the you know, street food and stuff like that, which is usually always cheaper, to all-inclusive deals where applicable, to having chefs, to, you know, there's so many different ways that you can do this, and it depends on your bottom line, your budget. So you need to know And maybe you need to know how much money you have first before you start looking. But I always say know what you want to do first so that you can see if it fits within your budget. And then it's going to dictate how long you're going to stay. And how long you're going to stay is going to dictate how many places you're going to visit, how many excursions you're going to do. Do you want 5 days of just chill, where you're just on the patio, on the porch, just lamping? Maybe you want to do the Giraffe Manor thing, which is expensive as all get out. One night is like $800. A half a day is $500. Okay? So, thank you. We are having a blessed time over here. I appreciate that. We'll let you know where we end up next. Our day excursions, or when we jump on a bus or train to go to the next location. So stay tuned, you guys. Click the notification bell. So I talked about where you want to go, understand your finances, how long you want to stay, your why you want to go there, and then all the logistical things prior to. So yeah, I may not have made it a lot easier in terms of deciding where you want to go, because people will ask, where should I start first? And it really just depends on you. Some people will say, oh, go to South Africa. I've never been to South Africa. I was gonna go, but one of the reasons why I haven't gone to South Africa or Nigeria, and actually even Ghana, and partly it is because of its the resemblance of the places that we would go to. This ideal of the big city reminds you of New York and just different parts of America. And I'm like, okay, well, I can get to that. Let me go to some of these other places, and I haven't regretted any of my decisions. Of course, I've been to Egypt, which hands down, yeah, you kind of have to go. You have to go. I will be back for sure, but I can move around really easily in Egypt via bus and train. It's pretty easy, pretty inexpensive. At least it was when I went in 2021. So anyway, I say all that to say those are the things. That one of what do you want to be is going to dictate so many other things. It's going to answer, do you need a visa, or do you need any other additional vaccination? It's going to answer, do you need a visa sticker, or can you pass through with an online electronic approval? It's going to dictate whether or not you're going to have this extremely long flight. Can you fly directly from certain cities or not? It's going to answer whether or not the accommodations are going to give you everything that you need, or if you need to be in town or out of town, if you're going to need a full tour kind of guide set up. And I don't mean that because it's of a safety perspective, but sometimes you can go to places and you can be so far away from the activities that you're going to experience, the things that you're wanting to sign up for, that it's going to be in your best interest to have a driver. Some places having a driver is cheaper than doing anything else. You'd be amazed at what we consider high life is considered basic life in Africa. Most everybody has a driver. Most everybody has a cleaning person, someone who does all their laundry. And but what the variance in what that expense looks like is different from what we pay in the U.S. versus what you would pay in another country. Doesn't mean the service is slighted or worse or anything like that. It's usually better, but it's part of their way of life. You learn a lot if you're wanting culture, different types of culture, depending on what it is you want to see. Maybe you're like, I live in a city. I don't want city. I want to see the valleys. I want to see the villages. I want to see the people out in the street. I want to see the distilleries. I want to see, people in front of the house. They make their food and sell it, and you just walk by and buy, the empanada. Well, they don't call them empanadas over there, but festivals, and they call them festivals in Jamaica. But y'all know what I'm saying. You want to go to street parties, and what I mean is somebody's got music playing and everybody's dancing and walking by and everybody says hello and all the doors are open. You want that experience. maybe every city has that, or every country has that, but you need to know which cities are going to have that. And so that's when we start to narrow that down, when we do consultations and things like that, or you team up with people that I know, or you may know, or you're online, or you're following other YouTubers and things. But actually getting to Africa is really easy. It's extremely easy. You could literally go with no plan. If you're just like, I got 2 weeks, and 3 weeks is probably better. Uh, but let's say you have 10 days, 14 days, and you want to go. One of my friends came, never had Africa on his mind, and I extended an invitation when I was in Kenya, had a big house. And I said, anybody want to come that knows me? You know, if you're willing to pay a portion of the rent, you are welcome to stay, have your own space, whatever, and we are good to go. He came and stayed and then extended his stay. And as far as I know, every time we talk, he's like, he's so happy that he experienced it, but it was never on his list. And part of it's because, as Americans specifically, many of us have never had to apply for a visa. So I can even help you with that. That's not as daunting in most cases than as it may seem. Some countries it's a little bit more effort to do and make sure you have everything lined up just for a visa to visit a place. You can go to places like Cuba and you can wait until you're in the airport and they come by with that little blue cart and you get your visa before you get on the plane, right? So there's so many facets to it, but I want to stress that actually, in essence, especially if you are a strong passport holder, getting to Africa is very easy. The planning, when you're gonna go, how much money you want to spend, what you want to experience, is where you get down into the grit of it, and that's usually when you'll need someone who has some experience to be a guide for you, right? So yeah, if you guys are looking for any of that, I'm not gonna go too far in depth because this is an hour, and I swear to God, I thought I was gonna be on here for 20 minutes. But I know I fluff a lot. But hopefully that's helpful for you guys. I'll tell you the 6 countries I've been to, because I don't think I said it at the beginning. 2018, I went to Morocco. 2019, I went to Senegal. 2020 to 2021, I went to Tanzania, and Kenya, and Egypt. And 2024, I went to Cabo Verde. So I've been to 6 places, and I plan to continue to visit as many African countries as I possibly can. It's beautiful. It's really amazing to see so many similarities, or know that I've been different countries around the world and I see something that clearly is a page out of the Africa book, right? And you're just like, wait a minute, you know. I went to a Balkan country that I had no plans on going to before I came back to the States, Serbia. I'll talk a little bit more about Serbia, especially since it's definitely fresh and it's a place that I was completely surprised by and amazed and taken aback by the African presence there because of the relationship between Serbia, their government, and parts of Africa, specifically I think mostly East Africa. But the presence of Africans living, thriving in Serbia, and the community there, and just the collaboration, and there's this concept of acceptance doesn't even exist. It's just, wow, blown away, because that's not a place I would have considered it, and so I will always say travel is the best educator. If you are wondering about a place, or and it's a regular place, I'm not, like I said, you guys, I ain't talking about going to places like Burma and stuff. I'm talking about, like, if you want to go to a regular place where we can walk about easily, you'd be surprised at what we don't know because of what we've been shown, what we've been told, what's the propaganda about things. So if you have an opportunity, and this is informative, and the title of Going to Africa because you don't know where to begin just immediately struck you, or you know somebody who wants to do a trip like that, please share the video. If there's anything, um, if there's anything, hey Mark, I couldn't pull off mine because I'm in. Thank you. Hey, if you have any questions, I'm about to jump off, but if anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will answer them as I see them come across. But yeah, if you guys go into my links on my page and you'll see my link tree, and if you want to sign up for a consultation, or you just, like I said, want to ask me some questions about, maybe something a little bit more specific to going to a country, or how you can look up things. I can't tell you everything specifically from experience for 54 countries because I have not been, but I can tell you from traveling to 41-ish countries, 41 countries, how similar some of the processes are, and what I've learned and what I understand, and how those things translate just in general as a travelpreneur, as a travel person, nomading and going kind of, I gotta sneeze and yawn second, going through kind of my daily life based off of whim and what feels right now, where do I want to go, how do I want to get there. Have I ever? No, I haven't been to Ghana. Ghana is one of my 3 that I have put on the back burner. Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa, that I put on the back burner to go to in lieu of exploring some of the other not as televised and nationalized countries, including Kenya. Kenya doesn't get as much pub as it should. But I have so many people, so many connects in Ghana that I know when it's time to go, that I will go. And the other part too is Ghana requires visa processes, and it takes a little bit more time. There's so many places that you can go that we as U.S. passport holders can get to without doing a whole lot of extra. Even going to Egypt is a $25 or $35 visa, but you get it like in 25 minutes online. So that was my personal experience and preference, and reasoning why I did not make and I think there's other vaccines that you need for Ghana. I'm not sure. They have like a packet of things, and I didn't, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to move a little bit more freely, and turn over a couple different rocks, so to speak. So, have you been to Ghana? Would you advise going to Ghana? I know I'm gonna go. I have enough people there, so I would definitely advise going. Plus, we have the relationship with citizenship, buying land, rebuilding in Ghana is pretty streamlined. Like a lot of people are going there as an option. Rwanda is another place. Kenya is like second home for me, so that's where I would look personally. I know quite a few people who are in Tanzania, but most of them are UKers. But yeah, I have something that I can share about the 6 places that I have been to, and I will say this: it is not as difficult as media and other people make it seem. And if you go, I'm thinking about something that I just saw recently that someone posted about how horrible, and they probably will never go back, because of airlines and different things like that. And I want to say this over and over again: please don't judge an entire country by an airline you're experiencing getting somewhere via an airline or something like that. Because, like I said, I've been in and out. I've been on buses, 11-hour buses for $10, $11, and moved around very easily, or easily enough, even during COVID. So kind of, I just want to kind of stress that give the countries that you choose to visit within Africa a separate chance outside of the world that feeds into them. The travel to get there. You're in Accra. Oh, nice. Okay, so everybody's going to Accra. I met a lady when I was heading to, where was I going? I was going to Senegal, coming from Portugal. And she's Nigerian, but she was going to Accra for a wedding. And we ended up sitting on the floor in the airport waiting for our flight to arrive and just talking. And this was back in 2019. Beautiful woman. And she was the one who gave me that first insight on just using different passports and why it makes sense, and why she was using one passport for one thing and another passport for something else when she flies European and stuff like that. So just learning so much when I travel has been amazing. But yeah, no, I haven't been to Accra. I haven't been to Ghana, period, but it's on my longer list, not necessarily my short list. In the short term time, but that could change because I actually have family members who are doing some building, or not necessarily building, but getting involved in some of the communities that are being built there, and some friends who are part of building some of these communities. So I do look forward to expanding in different countries and across Africa as well. And of course, I do miss my family in different places. I still have people that from when I was in Senegal. It's amazing. So anyway, but thank you. Yeah, if you have more to share, I would love to hear about your experience in Accra. Are you from Ghana, or because your last name is Adido, or is it Ado? Oh, I threw an I in there, my bad. Ado. That sounds like that could have some African to it. Just let me know how when you're ready to come. Listen, I'm always moving about, moving and shaking. So yeah, share if you don't mind sharing your email, because YouTube, there's no other way to, they don't have like a back end area, so you would have to put it in YouTube. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate all you guys jumping on. Again, if you want to learn anything else about my travel journey, click the like, subscribe, notify button, watch some of my other videos, and let me know what you'd like to see more of, because there's snippets of things in there. Oh, you're from Ghana. Okay, all right, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'll have to revisit getting back to the dip. A lot of people tell me that I should actually consider a couple of other countries right in between Senegal and Ghana, quite frankly. So Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice. I loved it when I was there. I've had a great experience each time I visit. Even when things are difficult, one of the things that I've learned, and I'll leave you guys with this, is that when I am traveling globally and moving about, and I come across some hardship, like right now, my laptop is shot, and I just bought this brand new, expensive laptop, and I don't have a laptop. I can't do work, and that's a mishap. But I put it in perspective. Like I haven't freaked out or anything. I'm gonna figure it out because I gotta figure it out. But I haven't freaked out because in the grand scheme of things, I have to remember where I'm sitting, physically where I'm sitting, what I'm doing, what I'm planning. The things that I'm planning are usually quite different from what other people are planning every day. And I just remember and remind myself to be grateful for where I am. Even through some hardships. And that's why I think a lot of times I don't remember everything negative that happens, because I've learned how to move past some of those things. Because man, you could hold on to the things that happen negatively, and like I said, turn those into mountains, out of molehills, and miss some amazing things. And so I've learned to just look at the fact that if I'm complaining, where am I actually complaining at? Am I in an airport complaining? Am I on a bus traveling to another city? And I've been out here for 4 years. What am I actually complaining about? Unless I get caught into something that's happening politically, I I weigh what I'd be complaining about very heavily. And so just a reminder to you guys, if you're struggling or stressing, but you're planning this amazing experience, or you're getting ready to make a lifestyle change and you're getting frustrated from it, think about the fact that you actually are in a space to start planning something so amazing, that you're in a space to be talking about going to the country, that the continent of Africa, going to different countries, or going across the globe, doing different things. If that's a true, sincere part of your planning and outlook on life, and that's what you're actually like in the process of doing, shake it off. Shake it off, because you are in a space that many people would love to even have the mentality to be at that space, and not just talking about what they might be doing if something else happens. Um, so just putting things in perspective and remembering where I am, and the blessings that I have right now to be here to talk to you guys about it. So I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Love y'all to death. Love y'all to pieces. And I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all know the drill. Doodles and noodles. Peace and hair grace.